Now force on a moving charge in a uniform magnetic field B. Alright, this concept or 10th standard already you have got. So suppose there is a charge plus Q moving in a magnetic field B with a velocity V in this direction as shown in the diagram, means making an angle theta with the direction of B. Then according to Lorentz, means who first gave the concept, the force experienced by the particle is given by Q into V cross B. Alright, so this force is also known as, Lorentz force. Alright, so according to Lorentz force, what will be the magnitude of the force? You see, magnitude of the force is given by QVB sine theta. This is the magnitude of the force. Now, how to find out the direction of the force? Now, if you want to find out the direction of F will be directed along V cross B. Now, what is the concept of the cross product? How to get the direction of cross product? You can use the right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule is what? You straight your 4 fingers from the first vector to the second vector like this. Then thumb will give you the direction of the force. So, if you consider V and B, they are on the plane of the blackboard, then you see F is acting in the outward direction. So, here F is in the outward direction, perpendicularly outward direction. If you consider V and B are on the plane of the whiteboard. Okay, always I am having the tendency to use the term blackboard. It is a whiteboard. So if V and B are on the whiteboard, then what is the direction of the F? In the outward direction, means use the right hand thumb rule. Okay. So according to this concept, what is the magnitude of the force? QVB sine theta. And how you can find out the direction of the force? F is, you can write like this, F is directed perpendicular to the plane containing containing V and B. Alright, just like the cross product. Cross product, the same concept only we have used. And use the right hand thumb rule. So, this is the magnitude of the force as given by Lorentz. Now you see, let us consider that force is given by Q into V cross B. Alright. Now when it is Q into V cross B, F is equal to Q into V cross B, then 3 cases may arise. Now first case, if the particle is moving parallel to the magnetic field, means B and V are parallel to each other, then what will be the angle between them? Angle between them will be 0 degree. So you see, according to this relation, what will be the magnitude of the force? QVB into sine 0 degree means 0. So the particle will not experience the force. Alright, so this is the point you must remember, that when a charged particle moves parallel to the uniform magnetic field, then the charged particle do not experience Lorentz force, or the Lorentz force experienced by the charged particle is 0. Alright, now the second case is this, that the charged particle is moving perpendicular to the magnetic field. So just consider this example. Suppose the magnetic field is perpendicular to this cross signs are representing the magnetic field. Means what? Magnetic field is in the inward direction perpendicular to the whiteboard. Alright, and if you consider that the particle at this point, it is moving in this direction, then you see V is in this direction. Just consider my finger, this is the direction of V, and B is in this direction. Alright, B and V, they are perpendicular to each other. Then you will observe an interesting thing, that the particle or charged particle will move over a circular path. Alright, in which direction the charged particle will move? Over a circular path. Now, how you can claim that it will move over a circular path? According to this concept, F, V and B, all these 3 vectors should be perpendicular to each other. Alright, now in this case you see here V is in this direction, B is in the inward direction, and when the particle is moving in the circular path, then it is experiencing the centripetal force, and that centripetal force is nothing but the Lorentz force. So at every point, you see, at every point of motion, F and V, they are perpendicular to each other, and F and V perpendicular to B also. Alright, so in this case, what is the magnitude of the force? It will be Q into V into B sine 90 degree, means Q into V into B. This is the magnitude of the force. Alright, and what will be the path of the charge particle? You can write like this: particle will move on a circular path. So this is very important conclusion. And here, as there is no force acting on the charge particle, how the charge particle will move? The charge particle will move along a straight path. Particle will move, I forgot to write that, move along a straight path. Alright, so when the charge particle moves parallel to the magnetic field, what is the trajectory? Trajectory means path of motion. What is the path of the charge particle? It is a straight line, and when the particle is moving perpendicular to the magnetic field, then the magnitude of the force experienced by the particle is given by Q into V into B. And how the particle will move? It will move on a circular path. You see, if it moves on a circular path, then only at every point of motion, V, B and F, B, V and F, these three will be perpendicular to each other. Then next point is, so the next point is, as I already said, that as the particle is moving over a circular path, a centripetal force is needed. Alright. So in this case, who is providing the centripetal force? The Lorentz force. So here you can write, this is case 2 only. Centripetal force acting on the particle, it is provided by whom? Provided by the Lorentz force. So you see, what is the centripetal force? Expression for the centripetal force, mv square by r. And what is the expression for Lorentz force? In this case, we have got it is qv into b. So you see, v cancel here. So what is the radius of the path? Radius of the path is given by mv divided by qb. Alright, what will be the radius of the circular path? It is given by mv divided by qv. So you see, this is such a nice relation. In this case, radius is directly proportional to the velocity. So if the particle moves with a bigger velocity, then what will happen? It will describe a bigger circle. And if the particle moves with smaller velocity, then it will describe a smaller circle. Okay, so this is the point. This is the very important point you have to remember. Then next is, if the particle is moving over a circular path, then what will be the time period of revolution? Time period of revolution, it is given by time period is given by speed is distance by time. So time will be how much? Distance travelled by speed. So what is the distance travelled? If you consider that r be the radius, it will be circumference. So it will be 2 pi r by v. So if you substitute the expression for r, what are you getting? mv divided by qb. So v cancel. You are getting 2 pi m divided by qb. Very, very important relation. What is the time period of revolution of the charge particle in the magnetic field? It is given by 2 pi m by qb. Why it is very interesting? You see, look at the expression. time period does not depend on radius also, does not depend on velocity also. It depends on the mass of the particle, it depends on the charge of the particle, and it depends on the magnetic field of the particle. So these are the two relations you are supposed to learn and remember for solving the numericals also. Okay, so when a charged particle moving perpendicular to a uniform magnetic field, then it will move on a circular path whose radius is given by mv by qb, and time period of rotation is revolution is given by 2 pi m by qb. Okay, so what will be the frequency of revolution? Frequency will be 1 by t, means frequency is given by qb by 2 pi m. So these are the three relations you are supposed to learn and remember, okay, for solving the numerical. Now let us consider that the particle is moving with a velocity v, making an angle theta. Alright, means neither it is parallel to the magnetic field nor it is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Alright, so you see, if I consider this is v, then you see b is in this direction. So if you consider, suppose this is x, y and z axis. So b is along z axis, clear, and v is in space. So just consider this way that v is in space. So from the point, the end point, you drop a perpendicular on the xy plane. So if you consider OA, means, or in other way I can say, I can break v into two components. Alright, just look at this one. Apply the triangle law, that OA is perpendicular to B. So I have named it as V perpendicular. Now consider the another component AP. AP is parallel to B, so I have named it V parallel. So you see, you can just break V into two components. One component parallel to B, another component perpendicular to B. Alright, now you see, for the perpendicular component of V, what will happen? The charged particle will move over a circular path. So you see, it is moving over a circular path like this. And what will be the radius of the path? We know mv. So here you have to write b, v perpendicular by qb. Alright, remember the entire v will, don't have to take entire v. Why? Because the perpendicular component only responsible for the motion on a circular path. So what will be the radius of the circular path? mv perpendicular divided by qb. And what will be the time period for one complete revolution? It is given by 2 pi m divided by qb. I hope you can remember. Okay, few minutes back only we have done. Now, I have considered only the perpendicular component, but what about the parallel component? Due to the parallel component, what will happen? The charged particle will move along the direction of the magnetic field in a straight path. So just understand it. For the perpendicular component, it is moving over a circular path. So for the perpendicular component, it is moving over a circular path. And for parallel component, it is having a translational motion along the straight line. So if you combine these two, what will happen? It will have a motion on a helical path. Alright, means just consider this one, consider the tip of the pen. It is moving over a circle, but at the same time it is coming, it is moving up also. So this way in a helical path it will move up. Okay, so if you consider that what is the distance travelled along this one due to this parallel component, V parallel component along the direction of B, if you consider that the distance is d, displacement is d, then you see displacement you can write it as the velocity multiplied by time. So which velocity you have to take? The parallel component. Why? Because due to the parallel component only it is means moving along the direction of B in a straight path. So you can write what will be the displacement. It is given by V parallel into time. Now what will be V parallel? Look at it. This is the direction of V and it is making an angle theta. So what will be the component along the direction of B? It will be V cos theta. And what is the value of T? 2 pi m by QB. So this is the displacement suffered by the particle along the direction of B. Okay, so when a charged particle moving in a magnetic field making an angle theta with the magnetic field, what kind of path it will follow? It will follow a helical path. Alright, means circle moving up like this. This is the way it will move up. And what is the distance between the two consecutive turn or circular path? It is given by V cos theta 2 pi m by QB. And what is the radius of each circular path? mv perpendicular by QB. And what is the time period of revolution for each circular path? It is given by 2 pi m by QB. So this relation and this one you must learn and remember. Okay, and this topic is very important concept wise also. This topic is very important. Now here one thing I forgot to write. So V perpendicular will be how much? V sin theta by QB, because theta is the angle between V and B. So what will be the component perpendicular to B? It will be V sin theta. Alright. So these are the three relations you must learn. Now unit of magnetic field B. SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. Alright. What is SI unit of magnetic field B? It is Tesla. Sorry, it should be small t because it is the name of a physicist. Very talented he was, Tesla. So SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla and it is denoted by big T. Alright. Now how you can define Tesla? We get the definition of Tesla from Lorentz force. So according to Lorentz force, it is given by force experienced by a charged particle is QBV sin theta. So you see, B you can write it as F divided by QV sin theta. Alright. Now you consider how you can define. Now if F is equal to 1 Newton, Q is equal to 1 Coulomb, V is equal to 1 meter per second and theta is 90 degree, because if theta is 90 degree, sin 90 will be 1. Then you see F is 1, Q is 1, V is 1, sin theta is 1. So what will be B? B is 1 Tesla. Alright. So this mathematical relation only you can write in sentence, then that will give you the definition of 1 Tesla. So what is the definition of 1 Tesla? What you can write? If 1 Coulomb of charge moves in a magnetic field with a velocity 1 meter per second perpendicular to the magnetic field and experiences a force of 1 Newton, then the magnetic field strength is 1 Tesla. Alright, so how you can write down what is the definition of 1 Tesla? If plus 1 Coulomb charge moves perpendicular to a magnetic field with a velocity 1 meter per second and experiences a force of 1 Newton, then the magnetic field is equal to 1 Tesla. Alright. So this is the definition of Tesla, and it is coming from this relation along with these conditions. Okay, and it is also important for your exam. You may get one more question on it. So you must learn the definition of 1 Tesla. Alright, now another point you see from this relation, what you are getting, 1 Tesla is equal to, from this relation, F is 1 Newton. Okay, and Q is 1 Coulomb and V is 1 meter per second. So you see 1 Tesla is equal to Newton, okay, per meter second per Coulomb, or you can write it as Newton per Coulomb per meter into second. Clear? So this is the way one can define Tesla in terms of the Lorentz force. Now from the expression for Lorentz force, one can also get what is the dimension of magnetic field intensity. So you see, according to this, the expression for Lorentz force, you can write dimension of B is the dimension of F by QV sin theta. So what is the dimension of force? ml t to the power minus 2. What is the dimension of charge? It is at. I hope you can remember that the charge is not a fundamental quantity. Current is the fundamental quantity, and you can write charge as a current into time. Then what is the dimension of velocity? L t to the power minus 1, and sin theta has no dimension. So you see what you are getting, L cancel, so it is m. Then it is coming t to the power minus 2 plus 1 means t to the power, oh sorry, here another t is there. So this t, it will go cancel. So you are having t to the power minus 2, a to the power minus 1. Alright. So what is the dimension of m? B, m t to the power minus 2, a to the power minus 1. Now next is the motion of a charged particle in a combined electric and magnetic field. Means there is an electric field E and magnetic field B, and the charged particle is moving within it. In that case, you know that it will experience an electric force and it will experience a magnetic force. Alright. So you can write the net force experienced by the charged particle. It is given by sum of the electric force and the magnetic force. Now according to our concept of electrostatics, if a charged particle moves in an electric field, how much force it will experience? It is given by Q into E. And if a charged particle moves with a velocity V in the magnetic field, then it is given by Q into V cross B. Alright. So what is, you can take Q common, so you can write this is the expression for the force experienced by the charged particle when moving in a combined electric and magnetic field. Alright. Now, when I will discuss cyclotron. In the next topic is cyclotron. So in the cyclotron we have to apply this concept. So it is a simple thing that when it is moving in both in electric field and magnetic field, it will experience the electric force, which is electric force is very simple, because you know electric force does not depend on the movement of the charged particle. Okay, it only depends on the amount of charge present in the particle. So it is given by Q into E, and the magnetic force, it depends on the magnitude of the velocity as well as direction of the velocity. So you can write it as Q into V cross B is the magnetic force. So take the vector sum of these two force, that will be the net force experienced by the charged particle in both magnetic and electric field, or in combined electric and magnetic field. Alright. Now suppose you have chosen the direction of velocity of the charged particle, direction of B and direction of E in such a way that Fe and Fm, they are equal in magnitude in opposite in direction. Just you see how I have written Fe is equal to minus Fm. Alright, just you consider this case. Suppose a charged particle is moving with a velocity v along x-axis. Okay, charge particle is moving with a velocity v along x-axis. Alright, what is the charge particle? Charge plus q. Clear? Now, if you consider that electric field, suppose electric field, it is acting along y-axis. This is the direction of the electric field. So you see, the charge particle will experience the force Fe in the direction of the electric field. So you see, Fe is acting along plus y-axis. Now suppose the magnetic field, it is along z-axis. In which direction magnetic field is? Magnetic field is along z-axis. Now you see, if you apply V cross B, then you see, if I apply V cross B, V to B like this, then in which direction V cross B will act? V cross B will act along minus x-axis. Means this is the direction of Fm. Alright, this is the direction of Fm. Now look at it. Fe is along positive y-axis, whereas Fm is along negative y-axis. So these two directions are opposite. Alright, now what you have done, you have adjusted the value of V, B, Q, E in such a manner that magnitude also equal. So magnitude also equal means, I am writing it here. Magnitude also equal means what it is coming? Fe is QE and Fm is how much? QVB. So QQ you can cancel. Then you see what will be the velocity of the charge particle? E by B. So if this condition is satisfied, then what will happen? Although the charge particle is moving in an electric and magnetic field, but the net force experienced by the charge particle will be 0, okay, and it will move along the same straight path. Alright, and under which condition the charge particle will do this? When the velocity of the charge particle is equal to ratio of the electric and magnetic field. Alright, so this is a very important concept. In the next topic, cyclotron, we will use it. Okay, so you must remember this, under which condition the charge particle will not experience any force when Fe is equal to minus Fm. It means that velocity of the charge particle should be equal to ratio of the electric and magnetic field. Then only the net force experienced by the charge particle in combined electric and magnetic field will be equal to 0. And this kind of electric and magnetic field, you see in this case, electric and magnetic field both are perpendicular to each other, and the particle also moving perpendicular to both E and B. This kind of electric and magnetic field is known as crossed field. Alright, although I will repeat the same concept in the next topic. Thank you, girls.